Can't seem to get the digits you want? They're just not available or don't want your number in the first place? Today's glitch can fix that, with the use of glitch contacts. They can practically allow you to get anyone's number without fail. Sound familiar? If you are interested, call toll-free today at 666-369... forget it. Just watch the video. A glitch contact, or glitch caller, is an invalid phone number found in the Pokégear in Pokémon Gold, Silver, and Crystal. In the past, they were thought to only be available through the use of cheats. However, thanks to the Zaz glitch, it was discovered that they are available via coin case arbitrary code execution. Another use of coin case arbitrary code execution is to gain access to the mail writer. And to save time, I'm going to use the mail writer to input codes to change the contacts in the Pokégear. We can do this by changing the hex value in the code to give us a different contact in the game. For example, this one gives us the mysterious leader, Cal. Cal is normally found in the trainer house as the trainer that you'll face there. However, if we call him here, nothing will really happen. However, if we close out, I'll actually get a call from a different glitch contact. And oddly enough, it will display the credits. There's a couple other glitch contacts that will do this. Now we're not going to watch all of this, but something interesting happens at the end. So we'll cut to that. And once the credits end, we'll end up on Route 28, which is next to Mount Silver in the Pokemon League. It's really strange that we end up here, of all places. And calling Cal again doesn't do anything. But anyway, today we'll be looking at various glitch contacts in all three games of Generation 2. Glitch contacts do likely exist in other generations, except for one, but those are not documented well, if at all. This information was found on the Glitch City Wiki, which I'll provide a link in the description for anyone who is interested. Get your Pokégears ready, and let's dive in. One interesting contact I found on Gold and Silver, which I should say are different from Crystals, and Crystals are different from Gold and Silver. If we go into our contacts here, we see we have Bill the Fire Breather. That's an interesting combo, to say the least. Now at this point I would usually get another call from a glitch contact, however that didn't happen, but we can use a method that will make that happen. It's the Daylight Savings exploit. It can be used using the mother in this game. You just talk to her and have her switch it to Daylight Savings or stop Daylight Savings. And that can cause contacts to call you, including glitch contacts. Like this blank one here that plays the credits. And we know how that goes, so let's try another one. Now this one actually isn't a glitch contact. It gave us Professor Elm, and I put it in the second slot where it's supposed to be. And the mom contact I put back there too, which is equivalent to index 1. And Professor Elm is index 04. You quite literally can get any contact you want using this code in the mail writer. I'll explain it more in just a second, but you'll notice here after doing the Daylight Savings exploit again, we'll get another call from a glitch contact, which you can see has a ridiculous name. It'll play out the credits after giving us the Hall of Fame entry process. As for the code to get any contact, you'll see it on screen now. This needs to be converted using TeamOVM's mail converter, which then will give you the characters to input into the mail writer. XX is the hexadecimal value of the contact number in the game, and the C6D9 is the address for the Pokégear contacts, which can be altered to change what slot gets the new contact. For example, C7D9 is the second slot, C8D9 is the third, and so on and so forth. Keep in mind that this code only works for Gold and Silver, a different one is needed in Crystal. I also should make a brief shout out to TeamOVM for the amazing mail writer conversions. But just like that, apparently we beat the game. And it will play the credits. As you can see here, I still have some interesting contacts they have yet to call us, so we're going to use the Daylight Savings exploit once again to try and get one of them to call us. There is a different code that's similar to the ones that we've been using to get any contact. It's supposed to allow calls to happen more frequently, and in my experience it doesn't seem to work as well as just using the Daylight Savings exploit. Which you'll notice here just worked, and we got a call from one of the Kimono girls. But unfortunately, it just caused the game to freeze. And because of that, I'm going to delete that number, and surprisingly we get jump scared by another phone call right after closing out of there, by a Dugtrio, which you can see there caused a pretty odd effect. Now it is good to actually get jumped by a phone call after closing out of the menu, because we can use this to fly away to go to a different location, and that's because these glitch effects from the glitch contacts are definitely location based. At least some of them, anyway. Which you can definitely see was the case here. This time, the Dugtrio glitch contact caused an unexpected reset, which then caused a glitch dimension. These will seemingly always corrupt the color palettes and disable transitions. The odd color palettes is from the game thinking that we are playing on a Game Boy instead of a color enhanced system, so it doesn't update any color palettes for the background map or for sprites, which should be apparent here. As you can see, it does look very unnatural, but thankfully glitch dimensions aren't harmful to the game in any way, and can be fixed by a simple reset. You can see here I take the opportunity to fly around a little bit, hoping to get another call from a glitch contact. However, you'll notice no luck there, so I'm actually going to try and call a couple of them. Some of them will give that weird effect that just kind of reminds me of Oak from Gen 1 when you try to use a glitch item where it's like, now's not the time to use that, but in here it's like the number is out of the area. And then the other one will just freeze. That's usually what most of them will do, give that text or cause a freeze. Notable ones that are worth trying are Hex AF, D8, A9, B6, E2, and FF. Hex AF will give the player a Master Ball when they call. D8 can cause a glitch city, and Hexes A9, B6, E2, and FF will cause the credits to roll, as we saw from some of them earlier. I got myself into another glitch dimension trying to get a call from either AF or D8, but they don't seem to be capable of that in my save file, I swear. But I thought it would be interesting to see the credits during a glitch dimension. It is a real bummer that neither of those glitch contacts would call me, because calling them gives a different effect. As we know, AF gives that number is out of the area text, and D8 will just freeze the game. But this just goes to show that there are a lot of different possible effects to see, assuming that each glitch contact will do something different. I'd say there's roughly about 800 different effects we could get between the three games, Gold, Silver, and Crystal, and that's if we get different effects when we call them and when they call us. Anyway, I wanted to try something with replacing Professor Elm's contact in the Pokégear, because once you defeat Price and leave the Mahogany Town gym, Professor Elm will call you. This is a scripted call, and I wondered if it would have played out differently since we no longer had his number, which you cannot remove normally, by the way. So technically this can be a helpful tip in freeing up 1 to 2 spots in the contact list, since the Mom contact and Professor Elm contact cannot be removed. And since you only get 10 spots in this generation, it's actually kind of helpful to remove those two. This wraps up what I'm going to show in Pokemon Gold and Silver, however there is plenty more to see in Crystal. Also, take note here that we did not re-register Professor Elm's number when he called us. In Pokemon Crystal, we are going to start off with some Russian roulette with the glitch contacts. In my experience, they're a lot more active and glitchy than the ones in Gold and Silver. You'll also notice that the names are a bit more interesting in Crystal too. And the first contact that we have here is the B Crystal, Y Crystal. If we call them, it's going to do an unexpected reset, which you might know gives a glitch dimension, but those don't normally work in Crystal, so we're just going to get this message instead. I find this next one anticlimactic, but also very funny. And it basically just crashed the game. This next one's pretty similar, but a bit more interesting in my opinion. But it also just crashes or freezes the game. Calling Paul also crashes the game. An attack that raises the special is what I think this one and the next one kind of spell out. But they both crash or freeze the game, unfortunately. But as you can clearly see here, a lot of these just crash the game when you call them. But I thought the names and their descriptions was just really funny to show off. Like we have Joe, works 2 to 3. And the next one, why Pokey for you, very powerful. Surprisingly, neither of those crashed the game. This next one will try to cause a glitch dimension via unexpected reset, but once again Crystal kind of stops that from happening. But I'm hoping the last one might have caught your attention. It says Jonah Leader, which is interesting to think about. I'm sure it's just random placeholder text, but it would have been interesting to think about a possible gym leader that was supposed to be called Jonah. Now unfortunately he didn't do anything either. We only really got interesting effects from the earlier numbers, but some of these do some pretty cool things when they call us, which is where the Russian roulette part comes in, because we're going to use the daylight savings exploit again and hopefully get a particular effect that I want, because most of these will crash, but some of them will do something interesting before crashing. But in the meantime, I want to take a look at a couple more glitch contacts that can be called for glitch effects. This one in particular is Hex FF, and it tends to have a variable name too. But here what it did was kept the map open when I went to the contact screen. It's really strange, haven't had that happen before, and it kind of kept me frozen there, so I had to reset. But another thing it's capable of is probably due to its variable and unterminated name, it seems, because it has a very long name and string of question marks. And when we close out of here, it actually caused a glitch city, which is definitely unique to most of the contacts. One of them in gold and silver was supposed to do that, but in a different way. That glitch contact is supposed to call you and causes you to be trapped briefly, and then it creates a glitch city, but that didn't happen, unfortunately. Speaking of which, the .1 called us and crashed our game. I think that means we lost the roulette. But that's not the effect I was looking for, and this one's pretty special. I don't really know of too many instances where this can happen. It's gotta be pretty rare. Although I will say this glitch contact did something kinda neat, where they called us, and then the game just froze. But not necessarily froze where we couldn't do anything, we actually had to press a button to cancel the call, in a way, to move it on. But nothing seemed to have happened. But then after that, this glitch contact called us, and it made it sound like we went through a warp, and then it crashed the game. But then we got a call from the Jonah leader contact, and I thought for sure we'd get a glitch battle. But unfortunately that didn't happen, and it just froze the game. Noise warning, by the way, but I thought this was interesting sounding. But finally I get that glitch battle that I was talking about from Jessica copies a move. It is Hex 5D, and now in my experience, it's not very often I can get a glitch battle with 5 question marks 00. I'm sure there are other methods, but this is the first time I've been able to do it personally in my glitch fest in Gen 2. So get this, Master Ball you can catch any Pokemon without fail, right? Nope, not index 00. This glitch Pokemon cannot be caught by any type of Pokeball in the game, due to some mess up in the game having to do with it being hexadecimal 00. That value of 00 makes the game assume that the Pokemon wasn't caught from the Pokeball check, to put simply. It is level 0 here. Once before I had it at level 30, and it was actually mildly threatening then, and at level 4. Definitely a variable of some kind caused by something. Now there's an interesting effect that also happens once you either faint or defeat the Pokemon. Now the biggest difference is when you defeat the Pokemon, it seems to use the color palette of your Pokemon, as you'll notice here. And when you faint, it's in black and white, in the same color palette as when you black out. I know this one came up before, but just showing it that it didn't do anything different this time. But remember, things are location based, so you can get random calls from these in different areas, and they might do something else. But now I have a fun fact for you. You'll see here that I'll delete Youngster Joey's number, but then we'll go talk to him. Since he wanted to battle before that, we still can, but I thought it was interesting that was even the case. Especially when I overwritten it with a glitch contact and battled him after that. This happened while recording, and I actually had a glitch Pokemon during that battle, and that was due to me putting the wrong code in the mail rider. Whoops. Some final remarks on Crystal. Here is the code for changing the contacts in Crystal. The only difference is the address 7C-DC for the contact list. In Gold and Silver it was C6-D9. Also, the reason why Youngster Joey turned into a Pokemon sprite was from a side effect of Walk Through Wall. I was really trying to get some calls from these last few, but it seems like some glitch contacts just don't call at all. Perhaps they only call in certain areas, or are triggered by certain events in the game. But it is just truly crazy how many unused and invalid ones there are. Anyway, that is going to wrap up today's video, and I appreciate you greatly if you made it this far. Please feel free to let me know what you guys thought of this video, and if there are any interesting glitch contacts that you've stumbled upon. Perhaps they'll reappear in a future video. If you are interested in seeing glitch dimensions or other various glitches of Gen 2, click on this playlist here. And click on this video here to see how to obtain 5 question marks 00 or FF. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys next time.